All right. Well, hey, everyone on stream and in the audience, thanks so much for coming. This is going to be the first segment in our fundraising deep dives for our accelerator program. We have Michael here from VRWorkout, beautiful fitness app, and I can't wait to hear more from you guys. To kick this off, we have a little intro video that Michael recorded that we're going to play on screen here.
Hi, my name is Michael. I would like to introduce you to VRWorkout, which we are claiming to be the strongest workout in VR, and which is set to become a leader in the spatial fitness into the next decades. VRWorkout is a fitness-first exercise game, leading with truly effective exercises like push-ups, crunches, and burpees. We already have a wide variety of features, like multiplayer, where you can challenge your friends across the globe to live workout together in a shared space. Dynamic difficulty based on heart rate, where the game gets harder if your heart rate gets below a certain target and gets easier if your heart rate gets too high. Or using your own choice of music, either by uploading your own MP3s or just by using a YouTube playlist. We have assembled a dream team and board, including celebrity fitness authority Dr. John Jaquish, Tim Robbins' business partner, Nanea Reeves, the founder of Trip Meditation, Andromeda Entertainment, the publishers behind AudioTrip, Simland, an author and biohacking leader, and many more. We are uniquely positioned to become a leader in fitness on the next computing platform and are fully prepared for Apple's release next year. Come join us!
Awesome. Well, sorry the video wasn't perfectly synced, but I think that's a good first video for the first segment. I guess my first question, Michael, just to open it up to you is, how has your fundraising process been going?
Well, our fundraising process is, some may know it, we are in talks with Oculus. So we are, I'm not sure how much we officially can tell, but we are in the process of getting a grant for the development. Because Oculus is kind of, they have been having an eye on us since a few months. I think even back since the start of the year. And well, people who know the game, mostly what's holding back at the moment is the graphics. So that's basically the reason why we're still waiting for that. But we are in very close talks to get that running. We're also in talks with Andromeda Entertainment about the publishing deal. So that's everything is still in progress. But they actually we challenged them. So we implemented challenges in our game, and we actually created a challenge to challenge them so that they get actually more involved in the game, and they're trying to beat us now. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Be great.
So it's interesting that you say an Oculus grant. I know I see a bunch of people here have been through a similar process with Oculus grants. How do you compare that or fit that into traditional venture financing? Is that instead of venture financing, or is that something you can go back to an investor with as an extra attractive thing to invest in your project?
Definitely. So having a grant from Oculus shows others that they have some confidence in you, and that you that if someone invests, you already have the. I mean, if you have a grant from Oculus, you basically have the store listings already signed up, because otherwise they wouldn't give you money. And it gives them assurance that there is a backing behind it, and also with the publisher, they are also kind of like, if Oculus gives you something, then we are more confident that it's actually it's worth it, and it gives us more confidence. Yeah.
Great. One of the things I'm really interested to hear from you about is you have a very specific focus, which is you're a great scrappy engineer. You're really good with product, right? But building a business like yours requires lots of different types of people. You need the investors, you need the go-to-market and the business people, and you also need really the health-focused people to be involved. How have you been recruiting these other people to join your project?
So at the moment, my recruiting is basically, I'm a Discord recruiter, we could say, because I'm trying to get into contact with a lot of people. It's a lot of work, because you have to think from their point of view what's interesting to them. I'm friends with VRWorkout, with Ari from the YouTube streamer who does a lot of fitness streams. I'm actually trying to get to know Chesney from the guest code from Supernatural a bit better. So it's a lot of social work. You have to show people that you are invested in that, and if they help you, that they're actually doing something good. And from the developer side, I'm closely talking to the developer who is doing the VR backend in the Godot engine. So,
Yep.
And I already have him lined up for at least part-time work for us. So that's, I mean, obviously he keeps working for the Godot engine as well, but that's basically the best thing you can have, that the guy who's developing the VR thing in your engine, that he's also on your team. So I think you can't get a lot better than that. And I'm also still from my university time, I'm also trying to get, I already have that lined up, people from the biomechanics institute, so that they're also interested in that. They actually wanted to get us in touch with other universities to get a grant there, but since we're trying to do the basically the commercial route, it's a bit of an holdback, so we can't really do the grant funding. So we have to do the VC funding, but we have them lined up for studies and that how to make a really effective exercise. And yeah, I think we have a lot of people lined up that are really focused on that.
And when you build this advisory board, are you giving out little pieces of equity, or is this purely a collaborative thing?
So the people I mentioned in the video, there it's a share. So they get a little share to be on the advisory board, because we are benefiting from the network behind that. I mean, Nania Reeves alone, she's big in that space, and well, being the cousin of Keanu Reeves is also kind of good. And yeah, so we have to give out something that they actually help us, but they also like the idea. So everybody we've talked so far, they really liked the whole idea behind it. And yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I think one of the things we hear from an investor's standpoint is fitness is one of those things that's just obvious. It's like, of course, this is going to be a way that people work out. It is already, but of course, it's going to grow astronomically. It just makes sense. At the same time, when you have an idea like that, you have a lot of other people that are interested in it too, right? Every team has their own take. And you have apps like Supernatural and FitXR that are fairly far along. They're in the Oculus store. They have users. They have revenue. So when you have that discussion with your investors about these other companies in the space, how do you position and describe your company relative to those other companies?
So, I mean, if you mention Supernatural, we aren't actually trying to compete with Supernatural. There are a lot of similarities, but Supernatural is more competing with Beat Saber and Synth Riders. So it's more this cardio, casual cardio thing where you have recorded trainers. I mean, that's obviously working for a lot of people, but that's something that has a ceiling. So if you start with that, it's really great to get into that space, to get moving, to get your exercise up, but at a certain point you have to increase your length you're doing farther and farther and farther, so then at some point you have to do something else to not do 3-hour Supernatural workouts to still meet your fitness goals. What we are trying to do is create a strong workout, which is a short thing. We aren't trying to create a world where people are in there for hours on end, but we're trying to get something where you put on the headset, you do your exercise, and you're finished. So that people know up front, I'm going to do 10 minutes and I have my fitness goal reached for today. So a more closer competitor would be FitXR, because they are obviously also in this high intensity space. I mean, they are more a boxing thing. They have added the dancing and the high intensity things, but in our opinion, in my opinion, it's spread a bit too far. So I mean, we're focusing really on this exercise, on this body. We're kind of loving the bodyweight exercises, and nobody's really doing that. I mean, there are small developers trying it as well, but nobody's really trying to think that through to the end, that what can you do with bodyweight exercises in VR, because you have to account for the headset. And also for hand tracking, we are hand tracking first. So everything you're doing in the game is hand tracking based. You can do controllers, but hand tracking is just the better way to do it. And all the games that are currently there are focused on controllers, because it's, for this game mode, the better experience. Now, adding hand tracking would just be something bolting on top, but it's not meant for hand tracking. In our case, it's really focused on hand tracking. So we're trying to basically innovate the others to stay ahead of them and be the better choice.
And one of the most interesting things to me that I've always noticed about your business is your usage of open source. So your project really started as an open source project. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of open source. I mean, I have a few other open source projects, and because I'm trying to give everything I'm doing, I'm trying to make it available to others, because mostly you can't do everything alone. So if you're trying to create something like that, you can't really do it alone. It's better if you have an open source community behind you who can add things that you just can't do. But also there are so many open source tools we all are using. I mean, if you use Blender or if you GIMP or anything, we are already using so many open source tools. So it's really it's kind of you have to give back to the community. Obviously, if you're doing a business, then you have to weigh those things against each other. I mean, if you have an open source product, then you basically are more in the service space. So you're more trying to sell some service to people. And if you're in a closed source, then you can sell the product. So that's the difference. But since most fitness games that are currently in the Oculus Store are kind of subscription based, so they are already selling you a service, it doesn't really interfere with the open source model.
Mm-hmm. And you said something interesting to me, which is that when you are building open source, you have extra abilities to incorporate other open source technology into your project. Can you give me some examples of that?
I mean, obviously, if you're creating something, then you're usually looking for things that solve some problem for you. If it's an open source library, or if it's something open source, then there's usually some strings attached. I mean, it's you can use it because it's open source, but usually if you're creating some commercial licensing, for example, you're trying to add some GPL library, then you're running into licensing problems, or you have to release the code. If you're building an open source project, in our case it's MIT licensed, then you don't have that big of an issue, because you're keeping it open source and you aren't running into those limitations.
And it seems like what's been a little bit unique about your approach compared to some of the other fitness apps is you're really developing relationships with all these different people in the ecosystem, even like hardware peripherals, tracking, all that kind of stuff. Do you think your open source approach helps you make those relationships?
In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. I mean, we have been approached by the Slime VR developers for the full body tracking, which is kind of great, because they came to me and asked if we want to connect, and it's already given us a bit of publicity, because the Mystical, the YouTube streamer, is quite interested in body tracking, and he's following the Slime VR tracking. So that's something where we got a lot of publicity. So for that case, it's great. But obviously there are commercial products where this isn't really an option. I mean, we try to integrate with YourFit, where you have to. I mean, they have proprietary technology, so you have to at least convince them that whatever you're building won't be released in the wild. So usually, if you have an open source project which has to integrate with those things, then you have to have some blobs that you have to integrate, and the which aren't open source, which is always kind of a bit of a running on the tightrope to not interfere too much with the community, but also not to break some NDAs or thing that you have to sign.
Mm-hmm. And you've been trying to meet with as many investors as possible, I imagine. Where do you find these investors?
Well, basically, I don't find them because that's why I have a business partner, which is I kind of got lucky that he approached me, because he has already a product on the Oculus Store, and he is involved in a lot of other projects, and he's basically the guy who has a lot of connections to others, and he already had kind of nice plan of who he wants to approach, and we really tried to build out our pitch deck to make it really appealing, and with that he went to the investors.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think your biggest risk is as a company?
Well, one obvious risk is injury. I mean, we are building in a fitness app, and injuries are a real issue, and we're trying to do everything to avoid that risk. So I mean, first of all, when we started, when I started back in 2019, I was really scared that something could happen, and which was also one of a big reason why I made it open source, so that people can just take it on their own risk. The thing is that there are so many VR games out there who if you go to Reddit, every second day you find some post where someone hit the wall or hit the screen or hit some other player or something, and there are really a lot of injuries there. So people don't seem to care too much about that, but that's not enough for us. So we can't just accept the fact that there is a risk. So we're trying to really, we won't let any people into the game who aren't aware of that of the risk they are getting into if they are doing exercises with a headset on. So we have a disclaimer that you actually, if you don't read it, you won't get by it because you won't know how to get by it. It's not a simple button thing where you just say, okay, I read it and that's it, it's done. And in the game, we're trying to add a lot of measures to keep it as safe as possible. So obviously, we have to try to keep the player centered because as long as the player is in the center of his play space, there is no risk of him hitting something. So we have a lot of visual cues that tell you when to go back or forward or left or right. We're also trying to add, we also have a warm-up now in the game that basically very visible. We will try to add it even mandatory that people have to accept if they already warmed up so that people at least have their body in a state where it's relatively safe to do the exercise. And we also with the fitness trainers we're talking to, we're trying to add as much security as possible to get it to make it safe for people to use it. But obviously we incorporate it, so we have to put some cooperation between that to kind of limit the liability a bit.
Sure. And to everyone who's watching, how much are you raising and what are you doing with the money?
So basically, at the moment we are trying to raise 1.5 million, which is we started off with around 700, but every investor we're talking to is basically telling us it's too little because they want to invest in a big company. Oculus. When we were with 700, Oculus told us it's way too low because the investments in VR are so much higher. So that's the reason why we're investing in that round. First of all, at the first money we will really raise we will put everything into the look because everything into art and the user interface design because that's basically the thing that will get us where we want to be. The second thing is we will have at least 400K on the side for performance marketing because the thing is you can have the best product, but if you're not known, then you just don't exist. I've seen that. When I started, I thought everything is that the most important thing are features, but after 1.5 years, I've seen the most important thing is that people know you, and it doesn't really matter if you have 3 times the features than your competition has. If they don't know you, then you're not there. Then we have lined up a lot of developers, like I already mentioned from the Godot engine, and we need backend developers, we need front-end developers because we also built the infrastructure for our multiplayer. It's already there, everything's working, we already have the stuff running, but for it to be like a game not for 2,000 or 5,000 monthly players, but for 200 to 500,000 monthly players, then we have to build a lot of infrastructure in the background. So that's basically the first round we're trying to raise. So it's 1.5 million with a safe cap of 5 million. So it's around 30% that we are raising. And then further rounds will be because we're not trying to create a product that's then sold and it's finished, but we're trying basically it's the first step to a much bigger thing down the road.
Sure. And what kind of analytics or data can you share with us? Number of downloads, rating, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So at the moment, the downloads are around 65,000 if you combine Steam and AppLab and SideQuest. Currently, we are at 2,000 monthly players. So that's without any marketing because we didn't do marketing yet. So now we've started marketing and it's basically with some simple ads we already doubled that. So but there's no real money behind that. It's around $500. So it's really just trying to figure out where the path will go. Ratings we are on SideQuest with a rating of 4.35 at around 100 reviews, and on AppLab we have 4.2 at I think 25 or something. I'm not sure because we don't have a lot of AppLab ratings yet. So generally, everybody's the people really are like the way to do that. The good thing is we aren't trying to be a game. We are a fitness first, so we're trying to be a fitness app that tries to add as much game elements as are possible to make it more interesting. But it's fitness focused for game, which kind of limits the expectations of players that they know that's a fitness game. If you won't be mad at your home trainer if you sweat. So that's kind of the thing, yeah.
Great. and trying to keep these to 20 minutes, I'm just going to ask one more question. What can you tell me about revenue model? I know you're going with a live service that's going to be free to play. You're going to be focusing on advertising, right? What else do you know? What else do you expect about the way you're going to earn revenue?
Revenue model. I mean, if you look at the other fitness, almost all other fitness apps that are kind of big on the store, it's always a kind of subscription model. Our focus is we really want it to be free at some level, so that we want everybody to be able to use it, even if they can't afford a subscription model, and that will be in some form or shape funded by advertising, but not kind of like this mobile advertising where it's everything popping in your head. But if you're in a gym, you probably have some advertising on the wall somewhere as well. So if you go to a gym, and the gym owner tells you, yeah, you can go in there for free, but you have to look at the posters on the wall, then you would kind of be surprised, probably positively. Sure. And basically that's what we're doing. But for the real monetization model, it's a subscription. Will be a subscription model which probably targeted around $5 a month, so it won't break the bank. And for that you get a lot of additional features. So in the basic version is basically an offline thing. You can use it as much as you want for yourself. And if you want to have the online features, if you want to have the tracking, if you want to have then further down the road gym classes where you basically, if for example, if you go to the gym and you usually have your schedule where, like, on Monday Jennifer is doing the Zumba classes, something like that will be in the game as well, so that you see a schedule of gym classes that you can join. And with your subscription you get, for example, one gym class free per month, and if you want more, then you can buy additional gym classes and join them. So that's going to be the first revenue model. The second one will be to give trainers a way to join with their students, so that a trainer can create the gym class. They will obviously pay more because they are getting revenue out of that. They will have a premium model there, and then people can join. So you are a trainer, you want to train your 30 or 50 people in your class, in your gym class, and you just have a higher monthly fee to have additional trainer features. And the last thing will then be kind of this Uber model where you're matching personal trainers with trainees, so that you log onto the app and you say, okay, I want a personal trainer, and they are offering their services, and you basically say, okay, I want this trainer now for an hour, and we will just get a cut of the revenue share.
Awesome. Well, that's all. Jesse, do you have something here? You raising your
hand?
hand?
I just had a question for you, Michael. When you've had conversations with investors, have they keyed in on any specific metrics or trends of yours that they either find most promising or most troubling? Have there been any type of metrics that you've been tracking that they really take a keen focus on?
Well, I mean, obviously, what everybody wants to know is how many users you have. I mean, that's basically it. That's also what Oculus. Funny thing, even Oculus asked us how many users they had, which is kind of strange because they would just have to look it up. But maybe they are not allowed to because of the business model. And when we told them that we have around 2,000 monthly users, they were kind of, yeah, that's kind of good. So I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be good if you are Gorilla Tag or if you are some really popular brand thing. But for something so niche like it's us, they were kind of happy with that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we'll open up for questions and casual chat, but just in closing, I just want to say, I hope you find the $1.5 million.
You're asking me all the way out there, and I'm listening to something.
I hope you find the $1.5 million you're looking for. I think you guys totally deserve it. I've been super impressed watching you guys. I think you're attacking a big market. You got a great product. And I think you touched on something earlier, which was, you used to think it was all about the features, and now you realize it's all about the exposure. And I don't think very many people are capable of making that transition mentally, right? And I think the fact that you're able to encompass both perspectives, I think is very promising for the future of XR Workout. So I wish you guys the best of luck. Obviously, let us know anything we can do to help you get this money raised. And thanks for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Give him likes.
Yeah. I'm giving him hearts. Can I give him a heart, or do I have to give him like?
You could make dollar signs that people can throw at you.
This is
Michael.
Have there been any? We'll be going up on Twitter, and then feel free to ask any follow-up questions, and we'll be doing our regular mixer here in about 10 minutes.
Michael, have there been any things that have surprised you in investor meetings, or things maybe you might not have expected, either pleasant surprises or maybe negative surprises?
Well, I mean, I haven't had any exposure to that in the past, so I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, basically, the first thing that really surprised me was the volume, because I mean, at first when we were thinking about maybe getting an Oculus grant, we were trending around 185,000. I was like already, wow, if someone gives you that money, it's really like that. And then it doubled and doubled and doubled, and every time then I realized that I think even it was something Justin mentioned a few months back when he announced that maybe there will be this fundraising event. He told that he would be happy if there were investors investing 50,000 for some smaller project, but the thing is that just nobody really wants that, because they all want to go big or go home. So I mean, you want a big investment, you want a big payout, and the small things isn't really that's something that's such common, and that's something I really was surprised that nobody really was kind of when we mentioned like the 1.5 million which we're looking for. But basically, even if we don't get the 1.5 million, we are still good to go. So I mean, we already have quite a finished product which needs, let's say, a certain amount to make it to some minimum viable product which will also survive. But if you are asking for that money, nobody's really surprised about that, and that surprised me. And that
Awesome.
Michael, I have a question.
Yeah.
I would like to know how you are planning to do the performance marketing, because there are always the issue that the target group, that you don't get the target group at the right time. At the time they have the VR headset, and now they're searching in the search box of Google workout. I don't know how you are going to plan.
I guess the most successful marketing strategy, if you're on the Quest, will be Facebook. I mean, that's just there are so many Facebook groups who are talking about VR games that having ad targeting there is probably the best way. But what I find kind of really interesting is this. I'm not sure. Do you know this Zesty Market? Are you from Zesty Market, or is it? Yeah, Syrian. So the thing is, obviously, at the moment, nobody really wants to talk about ads in VR, but there is already a solution for that, and that's Zesty Market, which gives developers the option to
you can mute your microphone
create a space where others can advertise. And I've been trying that, and that thing works awesomely well. I mean, it's currently only in VRWorkout experiences, which is kind of a benefit, because if it's in the home environment on your Oculus, you have these experiences. I think if you scroll down 3 or 4 lines, then you have those experiences. And those are basically, if people are looking for stuff for free, they are looking at that. And if you're there advertising there, then you're only one click away from your game, because they already are in the headset. If they click there, then they are on your store page. Then you just click install, and your game is installed. So that's basically really the best way to advertise at the moment.
Sounds good.
Michael, I got a two-part question for you.
Yeah.
So first, as you're building this out and what you've built so far, for whom around the world is it built, right? And the second part of the question is, do investors care where you're building it for?
You mean the target audience?
Target audience, yeah. The market that you're trying to penetrate.
So in our case, the target audience is basically anyone who has ever thought that he should have maybe exercised more. So that's basically everybody. I mean, I guess that question comes in mind to probably everyone at some point in time. So that you think maybe I should exercise more. And usually, in my case, when I'm thinking about adding more exercise, because I was kind of like a bit slacking over a few months, then I always find a reason why now is not the right time, because the gym is closed, or I just have to buy gym clothes, or I have to add some exercise equipment or something. And with VR, you already have the VR headset, so the only thing you need is an app, which is also free, so that you have no excuse to not do it. And you can't even have the excuse that it's taking a lot of time, because our workouts are really short. So you really meant for very short periods. So you can't even tell yourself that you don't have the time for it. And that's basically the target audience. It's really it's not for people who think that you can play a game and reach the fitness level you want. I mean, there are so many games out there who are really great way to get into fitness. I mean, basically all music rhythm games are meant to get you into fitness. It's even if it's not the primary focus, but they are all getting into fitness. But they're getting you all only to a certain level, because at some point, if you want to advance beyond that, then you have to. I mean, you can't gain something without a little bit of pain. And basically, for people who would buy a home trainer and at home run on the treadmill or on the exercise bike or something, for that people it's basically the core group. And since the investors we are currently talking to are also from the fitness space, there is kind of a really good synergy because I mentioned in the video, one is Dr. John Jaquish, who is building an exercise bar. This is basically resistance bands on a plate where you're standing on, and you have this bar connected to it. So you're basically doing weightlifting without the weights, because you're just weightlifting with the exercise against the resistance bands. So people like that are already in this space, and obviously they know that the product is exactly for the people they are already targeting. So that's basically a match perfectly.
Do you worry at all about how headset designs don't seem to be very conducive to like fitness activities? Like that's the biggest blocker for me, right? Like I just hate sweating in it. But do you worry that like that will be a constraint for the growth of your business?
I mean, when this pseudo leak with the HTC Vive Air came out, I was like, oh my god, that's perfect. Yeah. Obviously it wasn't. I mean, everybody really noticed quite soon that's was just a design study. It's basically the most common thing people ask themselves if they want to do exercise in VR or not, because of sweat and because of the weight of the headset. The thing is, there is such a huge community already trying to use headsets for fitness, and we are basically siphoning up the top of them. So they are getting into fitness with Synthriders, with Beat Saber, with Audio Trip, with Supernatural and stuff. And at some point they either start adding weights or resistance bands, which I kind of dislike, or they are looking for something else. And then basically once the other stuff is completely run dry, then they come to us, because we are the next step in the intensity ladder. So everybody who's using, or most people who are really really diving into VRWorkout already are comfortable with doing some form of exercise in VR. So that's, I mean, I'm happy if the headsets get lighter. I'm happy if the sweat situation gets better. But yeah, people already know how to suffer a little bit, and so that's not that big of.
There's always Bobo.
Yeah, there's always Bobo. Yeah.
Or ceiling fan.
For those who don't know, Bobo VR is a face cover with a fan on it, so that gets your heat out of the headset, out of your eyes.
Nice.
Yes, Sophia.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, could you walk me through the experience that one has when we start using the app? Like the experience, do you have music? What type of exercises?
So in the video I mentioned, basically we have a few songs that are included in the game, which is your usual royalty-free things. A few stuff we made ourselves, a few stuff we had on VRWorkout made, but that's not really something that you would recognize from some hit list or something. But we always trying to. I mean, if people exercise, then everybody has his own favorite music and his own stuff he wants to hear. Some people just want to listen to a podcast or an audiobook. So in our case, you have the option to use the included music or just upload your own MP3s, whatever fits your playlist style. And for those who don't want to upload their own music, you can also use YouTube playlists. So if you're logged in the game, you can declare. You can in our user portal you can add YouTube playlists, and it will then play the playlist in in the game, or you can just use free play, which is only sound effects. So if you, for example, if you have the music on your phone, then just put it on and play the game without music, but still having the sound effects.
Okay, got it.
Oh, I had a question. Have you, obviously this is like way far off, but have you thought about integrations with some of the like more popular fitness programs for, you know, large companies that aren't working with VR, like Peloton, and I know Apple Fitness is like a thing now. Is that sort of like on your radar at all?
The thing that the only integration we currently have is you can export your workouts as a TCX, and every portal that supports TCX, you can import that. For example, Strava. If you have a Strava account, then you can import your workouts there. So we are, in our case, we aren't trying to replace anything of that. We are really trying to integrate with as many as possible, but for that we need resources. I'm currently looking into directly integrating with Strava so that if you have a account there, that it syncs automatically, your workouts automatically. As for other things, we try to. We have on our agenda, which is kind of phase 3, I think, in our plan. We try to add not only VR but also AR and also mobile. So the thing is that our idea is to have this virtually the same game on mobile, basically on your tablet, for example, like in Ring Fit Adventure, which you control with your body. So some neural net that tracks your position. And be able to be in the same space, in the multiplayer space as the others. So if you have a VR workout, you could, for example, we are in here and a few people are in here with their VR headset, some with their AR headset, and some who either can't be because they can't stand the VR or because they just don't have it with them, just join on their phone. So doing the same exercises, getting the same score, getting the same, and seeing the same people, but being on the phone. So basically having a big funnel of mobile users then back into your ecosystem.
Nice, very cool. I think on just to sort of expand a little bit on the business side, I mean, Peloton has this sort of like cult of personality thing going on where they have these like really celebrity instructors. So I don't know if that is something you could integrate it or not, but it might be an interesting direction to think about.
So we are planning for fitness classes. We currently have already that kind of a bit of that support. You won't see the fitness instructor because it's still those our simple models. But we have two things we are thinking about. One is having a fitness instructor recorded in front of with Live or something where you just see them. Since we are controlling the position of the players, we can basically put the instructor at the front a bit off from the group, so it wouldn't really be possible to see them from the side. So even having a video, which is just a green screen video, would already look quite nice if they were really in the space. Or the second thing is just having an avatar of them and having them use full body tracking to integrate there. So that's our plan for fitness classes, where a trainer really can teach them, and that would be similar to like this spins Soul Cycle or Peloton or anything where you really have this trainer motivating the group and you have like 20, 30, 50 people trying to keep up with the exercise. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
More likes.
Nice job, Michael.
Yeah,
Awesome.
well done, Michael. Guys, we're going to mingle for about 5 minutes and then get kicked off in the center in about 5 minutes or so.
Awesome.
Cool. Hey man.
Sorry that I didn't respond to your messages because I'm still looking for a scheduled slot where I can fit you in at the moment.
Oh, no problem, crazy. Man. I knew you were getting ready for this week, so I figured as soon as you can. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I already
assumed
I
hope next week is better.
Hey.
Cool, man. That's fine.
Hi.
That sounds good.
I wanted to say hi
I bet
to
this
you.
is a good big relief now that you've
You were
done
just next to me.
your pitch. So congrats.
Definitely.
Nice,
Is
man.
it?
Good.
Have you been here before? Or
Yeah, I'm excited
think
for you. I
so.
really am.
This is my first time here.
Yeah, we hope. I mean,
Okay,
the thing
all
is,
right,
we
awesome.
are
Yeah.
kind. It's kind of
I'd
this.
never heard of Spatial 8
You
before.
know
until
that there
they
is
invited us to
something
come
brewing,
speak.
and you know that there is
Oh,
this big
fantastic.
opportunity,
When are
and
you
you're
guys
just
speaking?
hoping that you're doing everything right to be on the
We were
right track
supposed
for
to go
that.
on at
Yeah,
1.
man. Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, okay.
I love that
don't
feeling.
really
I'm chasing it
know-
myself. So
Like that
I
was
get what you're
7
doing.
minutes ago.
That's
I
it.
don't-
Yeah.
But I don't know
But
how
the way
this
that you
whole thing
answer the
works,
questions,
so-
you know,
Yeah. Well,
and the
I
way you
guess
talk about your
spoke
product
to
is
Justin and Jess,
very
right?
confidence inspiring.
Yeah.
You really
Yeah,
are clear on what
okay.
you're doing, man.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sure
it's
gonna be
easier.
weird that
It's
he's,
easier if you have a
saying
product
that
that is
we're,
kind of
you know,
focused.
starting
If
the
you
circle
don't
over
have
here
too
by
much
the
space
Mason mingle.
to hang yourself with
But,
adding a lot
what
of
were
things
you
that
supposed to
doesn't
present
really
on today?
improve
Like,
the
Yes.
How are
product.
you?
So that's kind of
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
How are you?
All right.
Right.
You
You
Yeah,
guys
we
are
have a
focused.
whole
Good
like
stuff, man.
that whole gray structure over there is.
But yeah,
Oh,
no
yeah,
rush.
yeah,
Whenever you
okay,
can.
okay.
If you have some
I
time
think
next
Have you
week,
come here
this week's
before?
been pretty
This
nuts for
year
us
is,
too. So we've got a big
the investor showcase.
a big
Okay.
pitch tomorrow ourselves.
Athena.
A new area
Awesome.
they built.
Sorry,
Where?
I couldn't
Yeah.
Over
hear
here,
you.
come follow me. There,
Well,
yeah,
meeting over here.
it's
yeah,
actually
we gotta
not so much
Okay.
the focus
I'll
of
go that way.
go-to-market in
Yeah.
terms
No,
of
I've
target
been
clients,
here
but it is in
for
terms of our
last
services,
3
the
weeks.
Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra.
They're
So
calling me
it's
this
good.
way.
Like they couldn't figure out how to make this not see-through because it's a double-sided material.
That's
Oh, nice.
actually,
Well,
it's
we
double
can
sided.
They're gonna have.
I would love to do that at some point. Our main developer, Tony, he's gone a couple years, I know, and absolutely loves it.
I do a lot of the East Coast regionals, so PDF, Loveburn in Florida, and some of the other stuff as well.
Cool.
Bex and,
Yeah,
and Philly.
Excuse me. The only one I've been to a few times is Electric Forest in Michigan.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's a cool one. They're just out in the middle of nowhere in a forest, and there's some sweet stages out there.
I'm exhausted. I got an interview with Tribe tomorrow for Tribe XR.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're looking at putting me on for social media manager because they don't have much of a social media presence.
Awesome. Would you continue to work with Aviance or jump over to that full time?
So I love Aviance, but they're all super young. So Sleep and I kind of jumped shit over to Beat Syndicate. So I've kind of rebuilt Beat Syndicate's organization, which was Wave XR. So they're a little bit more talented group. They've been doing what we were aiming to do for the last 4 years, but they need structure and funding. So I'm kind of helping them with that.
Cool. And is Aviance still kicking, or is it kind of
it's
getting
still
shut
kicking.
down?
I
Nice.
trained somebody to take over what I was doing promotional wise. So now we have 2 full cross promo teams going. So
Cool.
Aviance basically feeds into Beat Syndicate and vice versa.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
sweet. All right, I'm gonna go try and round up some people so we can get kicked off here in a minute.
Yeah, you do your thing. I'm ready for
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Interesting. I want to be this dude.
I want to be one of the giant
Electro
ones in
Man.
the background. Ooh, yeah, that's what I want to be.
Or Flamebot right over here.
Ah, where'd you go? Oh. Fire Robot? I'd be Fire
Flame
Robot.
Boy.
I really like a VR.
Is there another person?
Like, I mean, obviously, my selfish question for you guys first is like, what have you learned about producing a live event that we could learn from here?
Oh,
well,
man.
I came from live event production and then came into virtual event production. And the main thing I can say is to curate content. With the Burning Man idea is like everyone can participate and everyone can create things. And we really did last year it was all about teaching people world building. And this year it was really about teaching people how to produce events in the worlds that they built. And we did a great job and ended up with more than double the amount of events that we had last year. Last year we had something like 1,500 hours of programming. And this year we had 3,500 hours of programming. And in an 8-day period of time, if you were to stay awake 24 hours a day and try to see everything, you still only get like 200 hours in a single, person. And then you want to sleep some, maybe occasionally. Maybe not. But if you did, you're maybe looking at like 150 hours that you can actually watch. And we had 3,500 hours. So a lot of the events felt like there was like 10 people at them or 15 people at them. And nothing was really crowded. It's because there was too much going on. So next year, we're going to take this learning lesson and we're going to try to hone down the number of events and when they're happening, spread them out more so that more people can be together at one place, and that creates more community.
That's great.
I think that one of the things people don't realize in a virtual event is that when you're throwing an event in virtual reality, even though you don't have the caterer and all those kind of things, you still need a staff to run it, and you still need moderation, and you still need a tech team to work on the tech. And so we have the first thing after last year, what we did was we started putting together an events team. And we started focusing on backup plans, and we assigned instances in AltSpace. You can have up to 50 people. If we had a event that had a lot of people in it, we would be assigning people instances, and there's always tech problems. And then we would get on a comms Zoom call, believe it or not, and we would use that as our walkie-talkie system, all even during the burn week, to dispatch people to problems and discuss issues going on. And we had cameras in the world, in our main worlds, beaming to our Zoom call, so we can kind of keep an eye on the world, make sure it's still there.
So cool.
And so we kind of have to develop these kind of ideas that you would take from the real world events and sort of put them into because we have so many worlds, and so many people be like, oh, there's a problem here. You guys go in there and check the MMC. AltSpace is its own little quirks of the platform, like any platform, really. I
mean, like I would start the Zoom call at 8 o'clock in the morning, and sometime around 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd be like, okay, I think we all need to go to bed. I'm shutting down the Zoom call. But it would just run. It was just our comms call, and it would just run and run and run and run and run. And sometimes we do like 4 or 5 hours of recording that Zoom call because the conversations and the problem solving and AltSpace, because it's not our own platform, we can tell AltSpace what we want built. And they are really good at doing that, but not necessarily exactly the way we wanted it. So last year, everybody was just on the platform and nobody knew what was BRCvr and what wasn't. So this year we had this really cool festival feature so that everything BRCvr was like what we would call the trash fence. At Burning Man, there's this fence that goes all the way around the event, and everything inside the trash fence is Burning Man and everything outside of the trash fence isn't. So we sort of had this festival feature, but it literally was the most invisible button on any platform ever. Yeah. Like longtime users didn't see it. Nobody could see it. And it was right there in the middle of the screen. Yeah. But nobody could see it. And then new people to the platform didn't understand it. And people that were burners didn't really consider Burning Man a festival. So that's not where they would click. And it didn't say BRCvr, but we were the only thing in the festival feature. So it became a quagmire that our team did a great job solving, because then it was about just putting portals up to all the events at a big, huge schedule on the main playa.
As a graphic.
And then putting what the button looks like into the world. So people would sort of see it and be like, oh, it's that thing. Oh, wait, it's in my menu. And then even in our graphics that were in the menu, it would sort of point down to like, no, it's that button right there. And by the end of the week, people were like, oh, the festival button. So.
Yeah. It is valuable. sort of like, how do you white label an event on a platform like VRChat or anything like that?
Altspace.
So the idea that you can pick your festival and put them in a bubble and then say that this bubble's pulled aside. Now, most festivals have like 5 or 6 worlds, and we were a little bizarro because we had like 100. You know, we built 40. You know, we went a little crazy. But most festivals don't need that many worlds, fortunately. You know, but Athena and I have been, and the whole gang have been pondering, like, what would we do if we built our own platform? How would we do things differently from the ground up? So we've been in that exploration of that discussion, you know, like
that's what we did. We started an Altspace.
Yeah.
There you go.
You started in Altspace, yeah.
Yeah, we started an Altspace
That's
for
how
the
you end
first
up
6
here.
months, and then we like decided like, what do we need that's different than what Altspace needs, and that's where we started for our own app.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same conversation. Like we have a list of things. We have like 3 or 4, you know, Burning Man's. If we can build something that's really great for this Burning Man project, I think it could be really great for a lot of different. You know,
even
the
just
checklist
that is enough, probably. Even just Burning Man's such a big
just
thing.
enough.
If it was done,
It could be its
enough.
own app, but we have other clients now that have come to us because we produce this thing for Burning Man. So now we've had other groups come to us and be like, we want our event and our conference and our company, whatever. And some want it on Altspace, some want it on something else. Some people are just like, well, Altspace is okay, but if you guys ever built your own platform, you know, we would go with you. It's like,
but
maybe
yeah, we're
we
looking
should do
into
this.
it. You know, I think one thing that Altspace doesn't have, and VRChat kind of does have, is scripting. You know, if you could have blessed scripting to certain people, like I trust Justin in script, you know, like, you know what I mean? I think that could be really interesting. I think Altspace is rightly conservative and concerned about, you know, hackers, which VRChat.
That's what we deal with in
is a
VRChat
problem.
all the time.
VRChat is
All
a
the
hacker
All the
thing.
time.
So you know, VRChat. So we look at when we look at a platform, we look through the lens of onboarding, which you know your platform is an onboarding you know journey, and then VRChat is an onboarding journey, and then you know Altspace is an onboarding journey, and we think that VRChat as an onboarding journey is super high. Because higher than Altspace, because you need to tell people how to turn on avatars in difficulty.
There's ways around it too when you do advertising, because I do event coordination through VRChat. I'm also a burner. I've been a ranger for a good couple of years.
Awesome.
With VRChat, if you have your own instance and you have it whitelisted, so only the people that are running the event can access it, you can do bot invite systems, teach your user bases how to be included into it, how to invite from it, and then filter who comes in it. So you have a master list of all the accounts that come through it. So you're not just opening a public instance, because if you do a public instance, you're just going to get hammered with hackers every single day, which is one of the problems we ran into when we first started doing event coordination.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that part of VRChat, that ability to script, and the avatar fidelity, I have mixed feelings about, but that's really great. And Altspace is trying to figure out how to add that in without bringing in this other problem.
And most of what we do are public events, so we have to have them open.
You can
we have a few private
open
events
and do invites to that, so that way your core people can figure out how to get into it, but don't open it 100% off to the public, so that way there is some moderation. But if it's marketed correctly, you still get the same number of people coming to the event. So we started with 60 to 80 people filling an instance on a public lobby, and after we implemented the bot system, the people that were already joining into it learned to migrate to that new system, which took a little bit less from us having to run security teams every night to be able to filter people coming in and out of the world directly, and less hacker issues.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think we do have some people that come to us to put events on that we think would be better in VRChat than it would be in Altspace, especially for the avatar fidelity. For Burning Man, for I'm sure, you know, and then if you look at through the lens of IP nightmares, you know, I'm sure VRChat is an IP nightmare because it was collecting, you know, I'm Batman. Yeah. You know, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of reckoning with that now that they're getting all that money, but, VRChat's really great. And those are 2 Unity based platforms. And this is a Unity-based platform, is it not?
It is. It is.
It is, yeah, because I can tell from the teleport walk, and I gave him a Unity file for this, so we love Unity. But we also looked at a lot of the Unreal platforms, and it seems like Unreal platforms get seduced by the graphics, so I can't actually go into a lot of them because I don't have a gaming PC.
Okay.
I can't go into a lot of them, and I have a gaming PC, so.
Yeah, it's like
Neos is pretty rough too, and that's Unity.
Oh, Neos is a high-end Unity.
Neos,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's super high-end
rare.
Unity.
Yeah, I've
We do
rarely
events
seen
there.
I've rarely seen super high-end Unity. I'll have to. Well, I'll have to not check it out because I don't have a gaming PC. But I do have. We actually talked to Microsoft into making a Mac client for Burning
For
Man because
Altspace,
all the
yeah.
Burning Man office and all the people involved with the project are all Mac
Artists and the
people.
DJs and like,
You know.
it was like, oh, well, we
Yeah.
kind of have to have a Mac version. So last year, that was the big build they did for us.
Yeah,
Was the
yeah.
Mac. And this year, the big build was the festival feature.
The festival.
I think that other platforms, and I think Microsoft was surprised with how many people came in on a Mac 2D. And I think there's going to be a lot of other platforms that are adding in Mac client or some kind of, something like that. Because I think so that's what we're saying. We want people on a Mac to go. We want PC, regular PC to go. We want Quest. When you're building for the Quest 2, you're going to have to dial down your graphics a bit, so to make it all fit. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time, and we're really looking at like how can we take Burning Man, and if we did build our own platform like these guys did, what would it look like? So, and what would it be based on? And how can we make the entry point into the platform more like a WebXR kind of feeling, where you just click a link and it loads and you're in, and so there's a lot going on. Anyway. But a lot of our worlds are still up in Altspace. And if you go to Altspace and you go to the featured worlds, there's a BRCvr hub world. And in there, we put a collection of all our favorite portals that we're sort of collecting. So you can still go in and walk around. The main Burning Man Playa we had to take down because Burning Man didn't want that up all the time. It's a temporary city, so to leave it up. But we know somebody who can get you in the lockdown version if you have.
Yeah.
I saw it while it was up. It was really nice.
And fitting that into a Quest 2 was
so not easy.
nightmarish.
Yeah.
Nightmarish hell. Then I'm hoping the Quest, by the time we get to a Quest 3 or 4, we can, have more fidelity. Already, the Quest 1 to the Quest 2 is about 10 frames per second faster. So things that I would normally, I try not to go below 30 frames a second, or else we'll get people sick. But yeah, Quest. I'm hopeful for the Quest 5. We'll be ready for it.
Do you know the mix that you guys had between people visiting in VR and people using desktop Altspace?
That's an interesting question. We weren't told that, but last year we calculated it was about half and half. I think more people will obviously come in on 2D because most people don't have a Quest. So even though we build for the Quest, most of the people, you can see them because they're always walking around with their arms down by their side.
Yeah.
Yeah, just by observation, I think this year was probably half and half as well. But how many PC and how many Mac, we just don't know.
Yeah, they don't.
And that's not even, I don't think that's even something that, it's not an analytic that Altspace collects.
They must have it.
Yeah.
Well, they're
keep asking for it, and they say they don't collect it. But.
They would know that just because they have two different clients that they use for the two different platforms.
Right. They should know. They're just not telling us yet. But it'd be interesting to know. But last year, it's super secret. Don't tell anyone how many Macs are in. They're converting over to Microsoft accounts. They're doing a huge update in a week.
They're doing Microsoft accounts, are they?
Yeah, you have to link to a Microsoft account, and then there's a full platform upgrade that's happening on supposedly now October 5th.
Wow.
So they're going from when I got to Altspace last year, it was Unity 2018.4 or whatever, and then they just went to 2019, and now they're going to 2020.3, and they're going to URP shaders.
Oh, really?
And single pass, and linear color space, So they're just, for a platform, it's super aggressive to be like, if you don't update by next week, everything in the past is going to break.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And that's what they're doing. But
they have to though. I mean, they gotta.
I think
they
they
gotta
were
move forward
towards volumetric green screen stuff inside of that. What is VRChat on for Unity?
Right now, they're on 2019, I think 0.4 or something around there. They just did an update in the last 2 or 3 weeks from a 2018 version to now their Avatar 3.0 system's coming out.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what secret things Microsoft is working on that they need to hard boot the whole platform forward like that. But I spent the last few weeks upgrading all my worlds so they were ready.
This year was, we're going to make a lot of worlds, and then it's like, oh, we have to update all of them, and of course, Doug has
aggressive.
to do them.
Since everything in VRChat still works, even back down to some of the old ones that were like 2017 Unity based.
Yeah.
So everything that's even avatars to worlds are still functional and usable.
Yeah, I think
I think Altspace just wants to clean house.
And they're so much smaller than VRChat. I think they have the opportunity to hard boot the platform forward.
Yeah.
Whereas VRChat is so much bigger. I don't know how they would do that. Almost, like some worlds you can go in that are PC only, some are VR PC, some are. It seems like they duct tape and zip tie. That's a classic burner. Duct tape and zip tie. There's a lot of duct tape and zip tie in some of these platforms. So you were a ranger.
What's your ranger handle?
My ranger handle was Danicorn for a while. I'm mostly East Coast. I haven't rangered BRC. I've done all things like PDF. I've been to Loveburn. I do a lot of the Philadelphia Experiment PAX events. I've been up to Scorched Nuts in Ohio a couple times. And I wanted to do Frostburn, but I'm not 100% good with cold gear yet.
Got it.
That's
Got it.
cool.
Do you know Cause? King Max? Yeah.
I've heard the name a couple times.
Yeah.
He's in North Carolina. He's one of our.
He's in North Carolina, but he's rangered Transformus and Playa del Fuego.
I went to Transformus. I definitely worked with him at PDF because I've rangered with PDF a couple times. But yeah, it's a small, intimate burn in comparison to some of the bigger ones.
I like the small, intimate burns. I prefer the regionals.
We've been dealing with the Vest Rangers, which are the virtual Rangers now. A new
virtual experience support team. They created a whole separate division.
Yeah, I mean, you should have. I'm surprised you didn't get enrolled in this.
No, I've been super busy, and I fell into doing VR event coordination with 2 groups in VRChat and Neos as well. So I'm still kind of getting my footing in VR music scene. But I would love to get involved, and I would also love to do event coordination if you're open to more event coordinators.
Absolutely.
You always do. What kind of events?
Mostly EDM music. We have a lot of trance DJs. We have a lot of house, bass house, some dub, drum and bass, a little bit of everything. I'm trying to get them to branch out to do more things like comedy shows and more like rock and acoustic sets. But the limitation of how to do things streaming is a little bit more difficult when you start bringing in acoustic instruments and other things and timing.
You know what we did this year? I don't know if you went to Burning Man in 2011 or not, but there was the Earth Harp strung across to the temple, and we shot William Close performing on the Earth Harp in green screen, and we brought him in, and we recreated the temple and the whole strings and everything. We're going to be we're replaying that soon. When in November?
Yeah, we don't have a date yet. But
Well, you connect with us somehow.
Here, or I can do it in social media, whatever is easier for you.
However you want to connect with us, you can click on us and get our information and send us an email. There's like a way that
they have
happens.
to figure out how to unlock that.
I don't know. I was be able to click on people, but I can't click on people.
You can also it's Doug at BRCvr.org or Athena at BRCvr.org.
Let me shoot you an email right now.
Yeah, that's just we kept our email addresses simple.
End up doing especially if we end up doing some events over VRChat. We really need help over there.
Yeah, that I can help you with. We have 2 teams that run events right now, and they've been whitelisted on tons of different venues, so that way it is locked down. We do it through joining either a bot account or a friend to be able to get into it, and that way you don't deal with the hackers. When I started doing events, I was with Aviance, and Aviance was running a nightly, and the nightly just ran into a bunch of hackers every single day. We would have issues where the world would get destroyed, or somebody would come in and start doing a warp portal where you just end up warping to each one of the entrance sections to whatever the venue is. And I was just tired of dealing with it, so we moved to it into a different system.
Oh, all right. Well, I want to get your download on that because I'm a little bit. We've gone as a group over to VRChat a bunch, but I'm not as up to speed on how to throw a proper event there. I'm sure I would.
Yeah, and one of our team told us about Neos and said that Neos was really, really cool, but that you do need a gaming PC.
You need a high-end PC. Like my 2080 still has frame rate issues in there.
Oh, yeah, then it won't be me.
It's chugging.
Mine's a 1080. That's all I got.
If you have to get into Neos, you have to have really knowledge about those systems and so on. For fresh people, it's not a good.
It's not a good. The only thing that's redeeming about Neos is that you can drop a link, and that link will take you directly into that world, where you don't need to go through the startup, you don't need to go through your avatar creation or trying to figure out the controls. You can just click the link and end up straight there. Which is
that's awesome.
Really handy. But then when you get into it's basically like having Unity open while you're running a game engine and being able to swap and do whatever you want while you're in a world. Now, granted, the person that has the instance can lock down certain functions, so like I can't change the skybox or change how things are going just because I joined into somebody's world. You have to have a whitelist for that. When you're in it and you're running an event, somebody can sit there and do live editing to the world. So all of a sudden the skybox becomes your visualizer. It becomes your whatever you want to do with your DMX lighting. It becomes whatever you want to change in the event. So it would fit the Burning Man vibe because it's ever evolving and it's constantly in changing if somebody's editing it. But you need to be pretty savvy to be able to do it in VR on the fly.
Well, that's the other thing. The people coming to Burning Man are not gamers. They're just
hammer and nail.
They're suffering through the tech to get to the fun, not as into the tech. So we were always trying to be cognizant that this scene that we're getting is more. Are not gamers at all and don't even consider themselves that. So it's an interesting to build a platform for people who just want to deal with all the stuff as much as it is. But there's enough of them.
Can I get your email one more time?
Doug at BRCvr.org and Athena at BRCvr.org.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm here. What you're
Thank you.
saying. It's like,
You're welcome.
So I was reading Mark Zuckerberg's Mark Zuckerberg's.
And we are very seriously considering raising the funds and building a platform.
We're becoming a metaverse company, right? And so, I think.
If you do, I would love to be involved. We are always looking for more places to do event coordination. And if you have spare time and you want to come explore VRChat or Neos, just let me know, and I'd be more than happy to show you around.
Okay, I would love that. My thing is that I need to switch out my avatar because I made the mistake of making myself female in VRChat. Then I became a fox and I'm like 3 feet tall. So I need to figure out the avatar.
If you want to bring it into Unity, if you have the file for it, you can always raise the height and
so great.
Okay.
From which you move to.
I know. I like these guns. They're fun.
This is the.
Yeah. And basically, Facebook is creating the.
I'm gonna get you with community.
The next step is to make them stick. So that's coming in the next couple of weeks.
To make them stick.
Yeah. So like it'll get recorded on your account that someone shot you with a community badge, and it becomes like a part of your profile.
Cool.
Same thing with all these booths. Like they'll have on the top rim, they'll have a lining of all the emotes that's been fired inside of them.
That's so funny. That's great. So is your platform is this one? This is the main world that is the platform.
This
when
is
you
the
up-
platform. Yeah, we
This
like
is
took
it.
kind of a unique approach. We're like, we're going to build everything one open, persistent lobby that does one specific event.
Right. And when you swap out these assets, do you put those, embed those in the app to re-download, or are they loading off a server?
Yeah, so they're just in the build, and we distribute a new build every week just because.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
We've needed to do that anyways, just because we've had so many updates to make. But in the next month or so, we're deploying a new asset pipeline that's going to be totally server based, so you won't have to download a new version anymore to get the new booths. But that's not quite ready.
Oh, cool. And how many people are on your team?
One full-time engineer, and then so we have like 9-ish people. We're sort of like you guys. We have a immersive agency in general, and then this is like funded by the agency.
Right.
So there's like 9 of us, but really it's just one full-time engineer, and then like I'm like half-time, and then we have one person who's mostly full-time that does a lot of like the scheduling of production support, that kind of stuff.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it's been a pretty monumental undertaking for the size of team we have, but I'm pretty happy where we're at.
Yeah, you're coming along. It's very. It's very.
How long did it take you to get to this point?
I mean, like building a live service like this is definitely the most technically difficult thing I've ever been involved in, just because like debugging without all the people in here is almost impossible. So like we had to build like a whole like system of autonomous bots that we can load up and then come in here and be like with AI people. And even still, we don't catch a lot of bugs until event day. So like one of the helpful things for us has been our community. They are all devs, so they're really good at helping us spot stuff. So without that, I don't know how we would have gotten to this point, because it's just so hard to debug something like this.
Right. That's interesting.
So about
don't
6
think about
months
that.
is the long story short.
Yeah.
But 6 months?
We put out like a really bare bones app in early April that didn't have most of the stuff you see, and then we put out a new version every week, and we've just slowly gotten to this point.
Okay. I mean, if you think about it, Doug, Altspace basically beta tested 2 major updates with our community.
Well, it is. They have this deployment program where they, for the burn night, they deployed 2,000 bots into the world to see if it'll break. They have some kind of system that they use. I don't know much about it, but I went in there and I saw these little like robot bots walking around doing heart emojis or random emojis, and they're just. It was kind of funny.
It's really creepy to be in here when we have bots in here.
Yeah, it's fun. Just randomly walking around. That's so great. I love it. I love all I love all the people building platforms. It's like the Wild West. And that's sort of one of the reasons. That's another reason that Athena and I were like, we want to build a platform. Everyone's having fun. There'll be a shakeout eventually, but.
Well, and we're seeing the fun side of everyone building the platform. What we don't see is the
not
pulling out
fun
your
side.
hair, not being able to figure something out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where naivete is a valuable asset. Because if you don't know what you don't know, you may not have done it.
I don't really know. Right?
So.
I don't know.
But yeah, we're not
our company is like our DNA. Like we're like really like software engineering nerds at heart. So like we like this kind of stuff, but I think if you're not coming at it from that angle, it's definitely more painful.
For sure, I think that there's a lot of there's still like once you base it on a game engine like Unity or Unreal, there's still a lot of tools that are off the shelf that you can start getting going.
For sure.
It's just that. For me, it's avatars. Like a lot of the avatars on some of these, like the Unreal avatars, they're all using the same system.
Yeah. And we're just using third party also. These are just ready for me. And that was kind of like one of our core design decisions. We're like, we're gonna hitch ourselves to that wagon. We're gonna bet that they're gonna improve faster than our own avatars could improve, and just cross our fingers. And so far, it's worked out. They've been really good for us.
Right. And then
something like Burning Man, it doesn't necessarily give you like all the wacky costumes and all that kind of stuff.
Right. That's true.
Limited expression.
Hello, Flutter.
Hello.
So you're in Boston?
Me? No, I'm in Wisconsin. I almost said Chicago because that's where I'm from, but I'm like an hour from Chicago. Anyway.
You're in Wisconsin. I see.
And
That's
actually,
cool.
my real name's Christine, and I've seen Athena at XR Women, so hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh.
And I'm a big fan of Burning Man and VR. I was there this year.
Oh, wow. Hey.
It's the first year
Nice.
I was there. Yeah, and I've gone to some of your events beforehand. I'm going to be there on Friday, hopefully, if, you know.
Yeah, we're throwing a party/gratitude event. So many people, last year we did an event where we thanked everybody for, who was involved on the team. And then we're like, we got to do that again.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
Only our team is really big and it's going to take a long time.
so we decided to put it on a graphic this time.
Yeah, so it'll be a
but,
graphic in the world, and we'll call out people as well. But yeah, it was. This
Right,
year was a
right.
monumental undertaking.
Yeah,
No, it's actually an elaborate intervention for a guy we know. No, I'm just joking. Can you imagine?
300 of
I'm
your
here for the
closest
gratitude.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you imagine? I'm
Oh
here for
my
the
gosh.
gratitude
They have
event.
all these avatars
It's
looking
you,
at me.
Ron. We need to talk to you.
Gratitude.
You have a big chair for him to sit in.
That would be hilarious. Be a funny joke to play on somebody, sort of.
Do a
Um,
VR intervention.
Well, there's a big chair in the middle of the room, and you realize the whole event was just a ruse. Oh. I guess there's a version where someone could propose to someone marriage and that type
Yeah,
of thing.
sure.
If they met in VR.
Well, we had, I don't know if we had one this year, but last year there was someone that got married in alt space and then did their wedding
wow.
reception in BRCvr.
Really? I didn't even
Yeah.
hear about
That's
that.
awesome.
You didn't hear
Wow.
about that? Oh yeah.
We should check in with them, make sure that their relationship is still good.
Yeah, make sure the relationship's going well. Yeah, they got married
I'm
in
sorry,
VR and then
we have
did
a
their
vested
wedding
interest
reception.
in making sure that you guys.
Yeah, we got to
at
know
least
that your
2 years.
relationship is working.
It's
And then we can do
VR
VR
thing.
therapy.
Your headset's about to. Yeah.
I'm just telling you, just in case if I disappear, I'm not trying to be rude. My headset might go out. That's all I want to say. Okay, continue.
Well, make sure you come up to us as your avatar
oh, I, totally
in
I will
alt
charge
space.
my headset before Friday.
Well, no, I'm just mean
Yeah, we're gonna need a
in
lot of
alt
hours
space,
on Friday.
You should come
Oh,
up
in
to
alt
us
space.
and
Yes, I
Yeah,
will.
and get one of the those.
Need a
like-
charger for my head. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those
Oh yeah, I
cell
have
phone
I have
batteries or something.
the battery
Or I
pack on
sit
my
next
head.
to a wall and just.
Yeah, with a really long cord. I went and I got a long cord,
I have a
and I got the
Franken
rebuff
Oculus.
battery.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
I haven't
like
gotten there
Franken
yet.
Look at that. Well, because
I will.
you remember when Oculus's own head,
got so much
the
going
Elite
on.
strap was
Just-
breaking, and they had to
Okay.
pull
You know,
it
they
off the
gave
market
us
'cause it's
like
Still happening.
this
I think,
like
yeah.
3-foot
Oh,
So-
gosh,
cord
don't tell me that. I have
when you
one.
buy the Quest 2.
Yes.
Well, there,
When you
but
bought the Quest
there was
1,
They crack.
gave you like a
Yeah,
6-foot
they cracked,
cord.
yeah.
The Quest 2 is
so
like this short little cord.
There's
You're
this
like
HTC
literally
one
stuck
with
to the wall.
the earbuds on the
That's
side.
why. Okay.
The deluxe audio
And,
strap.
I never had the one, so this is my
and
first.
so you
well, no,
can-
this is
Oh,
my
yeah.
second headset,
Someone
but my
3D
first
printed
Quest.
adapters,
So
so you can
get
buy those
the
adapters
USB-C.
and put it on.
Get
and
like a
it's pretty
10-foot
comfortable. You
USB-C
screw it on your
cable.
head.
They're like $15
Pretty
bucks.
nice.
Yeah, there's one I
I'm
saw
really
for
thankful that my
$15, $20
computer
that I heard
supplies
is-
enough power to be able to charge
It'll
my
be
headset
fine.
while I'm linked.
Got it.
So if I do
Are you
anything-
are you have Oculus linked?
Yeah. If I do an event, so we're doing event coordination, I have to be on for like 7 or 8 hours. My PC actually supplies enough power to my headset to be able to charge it while it's still linked. I
Right.
know that not everybody's cards or motherboards does that, and I'm really thankful
That's
that mine has that.
Well, that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're untethered right now. We're fully untethered.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Regina, I'm trying to go to
Untethered.
your event too. By the way, I'm the flutter
you?
that was having trouble getting into VR chat that one day, like last weekend, maybe. I will figure it out though.
So I have so many events for you to come to. Just let me know what type of music you want to see, and I will hook you up with whatever event you would love.
Okay, I will.
I wanna
did
check out
make
your
it to that-
venue.
I did walk around the space and it looked awesome, but because I finally got the PC version to work, but the event was kind of closing. I will figure it out and I will be. Anyway.
So Aviance runs a nightly, every day but Monday and Tuesday, so they're off on Monday and Tuesday. And then I'm now
Okay.
doing Beat Syndicate as well. And Beat
Cool.
Syndicate's going to have some upcoming schedules. October 15th and 17th are going to be our big days.
I
How many
also
people
perform
come
music,
to your
so
events?
I could.
60 to 100, depending on
Yeah.
how many people fit into the instance. We haven't started running multiple instances yet, but when we get to that point, then you just add 60 to 100 to whatever the next instance is going to be.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Okay.
it fills up
Oh,
pretty
cool.
quickly.
Yeah, it does.
You're
There
a
were like over
performer as
100
well?
people. Let's say that again. I'm sorry.
You're a performer or artist as well?
Yes, I'm also a musician and I'm doing XR. I'm probably doing too many things, but I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, just get in touch with me on Twitter, and I will hook you up if you are looking for the ability to play and get your music out there. I'd love to help with that too.
What kind of music?
And I'd love to figure out how to do that. Yeah, so yeah.
I can help.
Are you like
I'll
singers?
be in touch with all of you.
I know.
it's
We're
just-
going to see you.
I'm just a busy person, so if it's not right away, it will happen at some point, though.
Well, tell us
Awesome.
about the what you're working on, the boot camp thing.
Oh, well, I just finished the boot camp, so now actually what I'm trying to do is create a world in alt space, but I'm having trouble like walking into it right now, and I'm trying to create a world to perform in, so that's funny, based on a mixed reality project that I would like to actually do in real life. So it's basically my partner and I are building a synthesizer into an ambulance. I know.
Oh, wow.
It sounds like what? But the ambulance
Sounds
is
like
kind
Burning
of
Man.
broken. So it's like 1986 Ford. It's old.
Right.
But
Oh,
we
wonderful.
did one show with it, and that's when I had like a regular projector on top.
You
of
mean
the
you mean
ambulance.
physically?
This is like real life, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
And so I'm trying to do, thank you. So I'm trying to do the same concept in VR. Because I thought, well, while the ambulance is broken, why don't I just see if I could do this in like alt space? That'd be really cool. See what happens. Yeah.
So what is
You
it?
need
It's
to
an
get in touch with
ambulance?
world builders. There's I know a couple world builders as well that might be able to help point you out in the right direction.
Really? I will
Yeah.
contact you. Okay, that would
Yeah,
be great.
you can download an ambulance on SketchUp.
I did already.
and-
I just need to do the UV mapping, redo it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
So,
well,
and
let
I
us
got,
know.
I got the stretcher in there, and so the kit is starting to work, but somehow the world, I just don't got that yet. But I'll get.
Okay,
and
well, let
help
us
would
know if
be
we
good.
can help. Yeah.
Oh, I
We
would.
know a lot of people in the old alt space, and it's actually the same Unity as AirChat.
Yeah, which is great, and
And
I
here.
do know Unity on at least the boot camp level. You know, I did make some projects in it, so yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah.
But, you know, you
All
run
right.
into
Well,
stuff, so yeah.
you run into stuff.
What
I'm so
you know, it's just yeah.
Oh, look. Hi, camera.
Oh, are we on camera?
Yeah, we have been the entire time.
Hello. Yeah.
It feels sentient.